Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill, and wow, do I have an exciting video for you today. Welcome to the 2026 Newmar Essex. This is not my first 2026 video, but it is definitely one of my favorite coaches I've seen this year. And as usual, I like to start my RV videos from the inside out. So Jody, please go ahead and take her on back. Quite a lot of new things to unpack in this Essex. First of all, it is a bath and a half model. It is the 4551, which is our most popular floor plan. It has some of the most amazing features that were upgraded, in 2023 for this product. For instance, I love the faucet set on this coach, as you can see, with both the brushed nickel and then also with the brushed brass. Is a really beautiful faucet set. Your raised vessel sinks are also spectacular. I love the glass subway tile, the mini tile. I love our sconce here. And one of the things that you'll see here is I love this. You see this little kind of plexiglass or acrylic, what should you call it, stand here. This will find mirrored in the coach, so you'll actually see where this ties in, and it's because of the dinette that we have with this coach. So really, really cool, backlit mirrors. And then just so you know, this is considered the vanity light. It is really bright. If you're looking for good illumination in a coach, getting ready to go in the morning, this will certainly provide it to you. As you can see here, we have access to our Splendid washer and dryer, so very easy to turn on and off if you're winterizing your coach, like we have to in the winter here. And then you'll see these are the traditional cabinets. So really, really nice shallow drawer here at the top for your toothbrushes and such, and then some nicer deep pocket drawers going all the way down. These, of course, are all dovetail, and I'll show that to you in just a moment. But again, this traditional styling is so wonderful. Little place to keep your cotton swabs and your Q-tips, and then underneath here, lots of room for any of your towels or linens. And then, of course, this 4551 is a very popular floor plan because of the fact that it's got the rear closet. So here we'll have our nice medicine cabinet, and then just to the left of it, you'll see when I open this door, the lights come on automatically into our cedar-lined closet with our standard safe. Over here on the right, we have removable or adjustable shelving. So depending on what type of amount of clothes you have hanging, you can change that. Maybe you fold more of your sweatshirts. Maybe you hang more of your sweatshirts. So depending on how you operate, there's room for you in this coach. And then over here, you'll see we have a double hanging space. But on top of it, so this is this morel wood. Once again, this is in the suede finish. So this is not the high gloss. As you can see here, tufted, you've got this beautiful lambrequin with this really nice detail here with this fabric that you'll find on the bedspread, actually. So they've really tied everything in nicely. And then you'll see I've got the day and the night shade both deployed here over our egress door, which of course I love to talk about the egress door. Unlock, oh there we go, and unlock. The fact that you can drop your linens out of here is just fantastic. There's a little ladder that deploys, so if there was an emergency and you needed to escape, you could deploy this nice heavy duty ladder and get down to safety, or you can just use it to drop your linens out at the end of your camping trip. Now all of that being said, I'm going to sit down on our porcelain loo here. This is a Dometic. I get a lot of requests on my higher end coaches to install a bidet. The Dometic comes with a bidet that's actually fully installed. This toilet's very easy to access. It's very easy for us to plumb in that Dometic bidet. And then there's also a toilet seat that we can also plumb for you. It requires electricity and water, but that's something that we've done here a number of times at the dealership. So if it's something you're interested in, please understand Transwest is very good at upfitting coaches to suit your needs. We can do that for you. But this is what I wanted to show you. I love the shoe closet. What a great way to store everything that you may have and more. As you can see, you could have some cowboy boots in here, as well as your high heels, your flip-flops, and then two really nice drawers here. And the reason I make mention of these is if you're in the restroom and you're getting ready and you don't want to go into the main bedroom without having your skivvies on, maybe having at least your bra and panties, maybe a shirt on, your robe, all of these things can be stored here. And then here's that dovetail feature I was mentioning throughout. So really nice, very high quality, solid maple throughout. And you can see the grain in this maple. You can see this detailing. You can see, in the raw effect here, what is under the skirt of this beautiful suede finish. And again, when I close these up, the lights go off automatically, they lock into place. I've got my flush over here with my toilet paper dispenser. I love the fact that these glow so that you can see them. I've got a 2022. You can't tell which one's up or down or in or out. So very nice. And then there's a nice little glowy light that actually will illuminate whether or not your tanks need to be dumped. And all of that being said, I want to just show back here. This is a new feature for Newmar. So this is our new interface. So we replaced Silverlink, and as you can see here, everything is so simple with this new interface. Climate control is really easy to get to. You can see I've actually got it set to 72, and then you can actually hit all sync. I mean, they've been able to really dumb this down so that even people like myself can use it. You can address your bathroom, your living room, your half bath, everything in the entire coach, all from one interface, anywhere throughout the coach. These are all over the place. We've got our fans up there. You can also see your floor heat here. So you've got, of course, this rear area. Your mid is going to be in your bathroom, and the front, of course, is up near the dining room, etc. And then you can see all of your power here. So we've got the 4 Moreland panels on top of this coach. They're now 120 watts per panel, so you've got 480 watts instead of the 440 you had previously. And then this has got 640 amp hours of Lithionics batteries, along with a second Victron inverter. So this has a dedicated inverter, so you can run the central air conditioner. All of that's visible here. This is the other thing I wanted to mention, though. So bedroom shade or bathroom shades. So I can actually control all of my shades from my bathroom. Even here in the rear, I can control all of this from right here at the touch of a button, which is so nice. So I can come back here without having my shade remote and be able to control everything for the entire coach. So for instance, if I'm going to go up and make a pot of coffee after I get done in the shower, I can put those shades up or down as I like. And then all of your tank measurements, again, very easy to read. And you can even see, you can turn your water pump on right here from any of these interfaces throughout the entire coach. You can also put your TV lift up and down, and also turn on and off your exterior lights, as well as operating all of your awnings. So what's different about this coach is that previously with the My Rosie app and Silverleaf, you would be able to do a lot of these similar things, but they were not nearly as streamlined. And this ATC system actually will interface better with the Victron management system that's controlling your Lithionics and also controlling your inverters. So the reason that they've made this modification is really a better interface for you as a consumer with your coach, and also for the coach with its battery management system, its BMS system. Now, Jody, if you just turn around real quick, I want to show this beautiful cathedral ceiling. This makes a big difference. I had a pretty tall guest in this weekend. I think that they're going to be looking at a different floor plan in a London Air, but he was a pretty big dude, and for him to be able to get in here, he did have to take his cowboy hat off, but lots and lots of room here. So this is a 52 by 34 inch shower. As you can see, I love, again, this beautiful work that they have here with all of this brass inlaid into the tile. You've got your shampoo, body wash, and conditioner dispenser here. Again, beautiful faucet set with this brass mixed in with this, polished, or not polished chrome, but brushed chrome or brushed nickel, whatever it may be. And then again, I have the AquaView light turned on here. I did turn that on over there on that panel switch. This is just saying that when I set it to recycle, so when I turn this over, if I'm boondocking, only when I'm boondocking, not plugged into city water, if I turn this on, when this turns red, it means the water's hot. It's time for me to go ahead and get in the shower. And then when I turn this on this way, either of these faucet heads will start draining into my gray water tank, and it won't happen until then. Another thing I wanted to make mention is I got this aimed on purpose. So this is where I would set this wand, right? And I find myself very frequently, because I'm a bathtub person, right? Sitting after a long day of hiking on this nice teak bench. It holds up to 250 pounds with the water pouring on me from here, not from here, because of course you can see that's going to not be very well directed. So you can change the height of this and the angle depending on what you want to do, so that it's aiming right at your body, keeping you warm while you're maybe shaving your legs or washing your feet. But just a nice feature there. And then another feature I wanted to mention here is not only the linear drain that you've seen down below with this really cool mosaic type of tile, but also the fact that there's a nice place to keep a razor down there, maybe a bar of soap. And then up here, if you want to keep, I use my power toothbrush in my shower. I know people are like, you brush your teeth in the shower? I do. But that's a great place for it, to keep plenty of room for toothpaste too. And then the towel bars on the back of the door, are definitely a must. And then one of my favorite features of this coach, of course, is the fact that we have this really sophisticated looking robe hook. And then across from that, you've got your washer and dryer. And I like to put my towels in the dryer after every bath. It's really nice that way. It is the Splendide. And then down below here, plenty of room for some Tide Pods. If you haven't thought about just putting them in a Ziploc bag, it's a really good way to go. You don't need that whole entire container. You throw them in a Ziploc bag down below along with some dryer sheets. Good to go for the day. And then most importantly, look at Jody stepping aside. He knows what I'm doing. There's your full-length mirror. So there's a few things missing in my 2022 Superstar. One of them is a robe hook, and the other one's a full-length mirror. I know it sounds silly, but it's such a nice feature to have. Now, as we step into this bedroom, I want you to just take a look. So this is the traditional, not the contemporary upfitting for this coach. And one of the reasons that we chose to do this Trad Morel interior is because we wanted to capture a very subtle way of being ornate. So this is the Trad Morel suede interior, and as you can see, it's very soft, it's very understated. This coach feels very decorative, it feels very opulent, but it doesn't feel gaudy. It just feels really well made and just beautifully finished. And then with just this twill that you see around the cabinetry, as you saw back there with those solid maple cabinets, these are just so well made, so robust. And then here in the center, we do have your two 110 outlets. And then again, your ATC has an interface right here above your bed, just like you're used to with your Silverleaf. You've got your directional reading lights, you've got your grommets here. These beautiful lambrequins are tied into the bedspread, so you can see that here with this nice solid wood finish. Something that's it's not sharp, it's nice and rounded, so if you bump into it at night, you're not gonna damage yourself. And I think that one of the movements that you've seen happening with Casey and his team now at Newmar is we're going towards a much more traditional look, but tied into a more modern feel. So although this coach is very beautiful, very traditional, very opulent, it doesn't feel dated. It feels very, very nice. It feels like something that you would actually put in your own home. As you can see here, we've got our adjustable mattress. So we've got our air mattress on either side. Those little circles are where you could wirelessly charge your phone. We've also put these little Samsung remotes out throughout the coach. And what I'm doing is I'm setting this up according to Marlon. Life according to Marlon. Who's Marlon? Marlon's our delivery technologist. He's fantastic. This coach has in-motion Starlink, right? It's got the big panel, not the little residential panel, but it's got the big industrial panel on top of it. When my customers come in to take delivery of their coach, every single cabinet door is open. All of the remotes are where they're supposed to be. He goes over these coaches. I have yet to ever have anybody complain about not understanding their vehicle when they leave with Marlon. And the funny thing about it is we've had delivery technologists in the past who might spend 3 or 4 hours with you, and I feel like you still walk away scratching your head. This guy is fantastic. He's so well prepared in advance. Your TVs are working, your beds are working, he's tested everything, the remotes are where they belong. So when you come out and you go into your coach and you ask questions, about your cabinetry, he's already seen all of this beautiful carpet-lined cabinet. Make sure it's all where it belongs. He knows where all of your HDMI ports are. Everything you have is working on this coach in advance of you arriving, and it really makes quite a difference. So I thought that I would go ahead and put some of these remotes out strategically like he does when you come in to visit us here at Transwest. Now over here, you're going to note that we do have two 110 outlets only on the driver's side of the coach here, with a Type A and Type C USB port. Again, fully dovetailed drawers. There are 6 here since your telematics are in the cabinet above. And then I do have out here, let me just go here to this bedroom. I'm going to go here to bedroom. I'm going to go to shades. I'm going to go to bedroom day. And pop those up. So I want to show you the awnings. So as we do deliveries for 2026, there are new locations for things. All of the awnings, including the door awning for this coach, are now in these ATC panels, which is hugely convenient. We've always had so many switches and buttons and doodads and donks all over the place. I delivered a 2026 Dutch Star over the weekend, and we could not find the door awning because it was in the panel where it belongs with all the rest of the awnings. So it's kind of funny. It was where it belongs, so we couldn't find it. But as you can see, these really nice awnings have built-in LED lights. They're keeping the sun off of us. It's going to be about 100 degrees today here in Colorado. I came over nice and early to make sure that we had the air conditioning on for Jody. He does tend to melt. He's a little sensitive. And so here you can see we've got our screen door that opens automatically. And again, all of these shade controls, just being able to let's do bedroom night. Just being able to touch a button to drop everything. And this is above your headboard. So if you forgot to put the shades down when you got into the bed, or if you forgot to put them down before you came to the front, and maybe you wear your skivvies when you get up in the morning and you make coffee, all of that can be handled throughout the entirety of the coach without having to go to any monitoring panel. So this is a beautiful feature of this coach, this full sliding door. But Jody, if you could just come through onto the other side, I want to show how they've tied this into the front room. So if you look at this muddling that's on this mirror, like that classic antique look, that's also built into our brick surround. Oh shoot, don't put your fingers in the hole there. Right here. So you can see how that kind of ties in when you've got that door closed. It really gives this whole sense of unity throughout the coach. Another nice feature here, you've got this dark blue stitching. This is actually bedding that I would keep. And they've tied this into the front. You've got these beautiful blue velvet pillows. And this, of course, is the Hayden decor, which is one of our favorite decors. And as you can see, that paired with the Trad Morel is just a really, again, nice, supple, very easy to also customize on your own. So you could integrate other colors if you were not a blue person by changing out the pillows. So full extension drawers. The 4551 is, of course, has always been a fan favorite because of the large pantry. In 2023, when we introduced these adjustable racks here, please keep in mind, just by moving one over, you could have enough room for a frying pan or a quart pan. So you can change the size of these, eradicating the necessity to have pans somewhere else in your kitchen. And then this locks into place whenever you're driving down the road, so you don't have to worry about these coming open while you're driving. That is a feature you'll find on the Essex. Another feature that you're going to find on the Essex is going to be in the form of this big Bosch cooktop. This is a 3-burner cooktop as opposed to the 2. You also have your Bosch microwave and convection oven with air fry. So all of these features that you have here are going to be tied in again to this beautiful kitchen. And what you'll get in addition to that is this Bosch washer and dryer. No, you get a Fisher Paykel dishwasher and a Splendid washer and dryer. But you do have a Bosch refrigerator. Just a little more storage in here. I think I had this written down, 21.6 cubic feet over our 19.7 cubic foot Whirlpool. So just a little more storage. As you can see, I left these down. These are all adjustable, so you can put your big shelf in, but there's also all of these little adjustments, so you can really tailor this to what you like. Big meat and cheese drawer down here for charcuterie, big vegetable drawers, big pocket doors on the side. This filter here is not only, it goes up here, it's not only for your ice or for your water dispenser, but on this Bosch unit you also have the ability to have crushed ice as well as cubed ice and water dispenser on the door. So pretty exciting there. Of course we have our outside Dometic as well, but you have plenty of room here in your ice maker and freezer for all the popsicles. And then this is a nice feature. This is taped in right now, but it slides here along the side, so you can actually change your freezer compartment size as well. So again, these are just all little features that you get when you buy an Essex. Now, something that you don't get is this brand new King Air floor. So this is a special order coach. There's not a lot of things that we did that are above and beyond the normal options that you can check off the boxes for. So this is what a typical order sheet looks like for me. So you can see here, we make all of our choices. After we make all of our choices, we circle, you know, which type of dinette we want, for instance. We choose our wood color. New this year, you'll find for 2026, if you're looking for something that's got a little more of a brown to it, you've got your chestnut. Today we're looking at this Morel, which is going to be this nice gray color. The Sedona is a little bit darker. You can do a two-tone where you can pair, for instance, this Summit with this chestnut if you wanted to have two-tone cabinets, or you could pair the Summit with the Sable. We see that quite frequently, but these are your wood choices. And then you've got your San Remo, which is going to have a nice light leather, and this is a full leather starting in 2025. They went to all leather in the Essex. In fact, from the Mountain Air up, you'll find full leather. You also have the veranda. And then this is, again, we're looking at the Hayden interior tied in with those dark blues. And then if you're more into the grays, you could do the Southport. As you can see, the nice feature about the Hayden, in my opinion, is it has a little bit of a darker leather to it, so maybe a little easier on the wear. You can always choose, if you, for instance, wanted to do a veranda white leather couch, you can choose to use any of these leathers in the furniture configurations that you have. You can mix and match the wallpapers. So you can use any of these different features that you see. If you like a flooring better, you can change those when we custom order these coaches. And I do a lot of custom orders. I've already delivered 6 custom ordered coaches this year, which is a pretty good accomplishment for me. Pretty excited. All of my clients are really happy. At least they're telling me they are. I've got good reviews so far. But I think that what's important to understand is when you're going through this process, so for instance, I really like this dinette. This is a great area for somebody who may want to be able to have company over from time to time, but may also be working from the coach. This is a really nice setup. So you can choose your different table configurations. You can choose between theater seats or a couch. You can choose all of these different features, and if you'll notice, for instance, we chose to have the storage here in the dining area. You don't necessarily have to have these cabinets up on top of the coach, but for us, I think, you know, when you're looking at a coach like this, which you could really live in full time, it's nice to have a place to be able to keep, for instance, all of your coffee mugs, beer steins, all of your cups. These, of course, are all carpet lined. You know, board games down towards the north end of the coach. But so all of these like little features are really important. And then another important feature that you'll have to decide between is in 2026, the standard chassis for this coach is going to be a Freightliner chassis. The Freightliner chassis comes with a lot of nice things. It's a 24/7 direct app, and customer service is real. They answer their phones 24/7. I swear to you, they do. It's the most amazing thing. Brake sync, drive tech, this new OptiView dash, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. The Road Watch, which of course is going to be your distance-based cruise control. Now keep in mind, this is a Daimler product. They've been doing this since 2003, so they're very good at drive assist. Ultra Steer, which is going to reduce the amount of bumps that you feel going down the road and giving you a tighter turning radius as well. And then V-Ride, which gives you a more substantial feel when you're going around turns and curves. You won't tip as much. And then also, if you look at your experience ownership, there are training courses from Freightliner that you can take. And there's even a program where if you purchase a Freightliner, you can get a special discount on your towable vehicle if you buy a Jeep. And of course, with Transwest having 43 organizations, we have a Jeep store that's here in town. We actually have a woman by the name of Shaylin who's fantastic. She specializes in towable vehicles for RVs. I know that that's a really big challenge for a lot of people. They're thinking, oh, I want to get a towable vehicle. How do I get my Blue Ox system? Do I need to get a, Air Force One? Which ones will work with that? We have a Ford store, we have a GMC store, we have a Jeep store. And at our Jeep store, we found that we had so much business coming and going through that store that we found it necessary to actually employ someone to be able to answer those questions and guide you, throughout your purchase. And the interesting thing about Shay is she's ordered a few units for us, and then she's also done dealer trades. So I had a client who really wanted this particular red color for Jeep. She went and got it from New Mexico for him. She still had the coach Wade, or the Jeep Wade. He was only at a 5,000 pound towing capacity. She made sure she had a weight slip in hand before she brought the unit up. But really going above and beyond that level of service is something that we can offer to you here at Transwest because of the wide array of support organizations that we have that are affiliated with RVing. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we talked a little bit about the shower size. This is a 72 by 80 king bed. And then as you can see, you could have this 87-inch full fold out bed if you wanted. We've opted to have the recliners, and then we've taken the booth out and given you a table and chairs. And I'm going to put this down. I do have what would be the traditional graphics over here available for 2026, and then we're looking at the Courtauld. That is on the exterior of this particular coach. This is more of the modern graphics, or the contemporary graphics, if you will. So there's a lot of choices that you can make when you're ordering your coach. And what's nice about Newmar is not only do you have these two options that you could choose from, there's 8 total standard paint colors. They also allow you to customize your coach. You could choose any number of paints to fill into this pattern. So if you decided that you really liked this, but maybe you wanted a green stripe on it, you could do that with Newmar. And another feature that they've offered this year is they have a very high-end custom paint, one-of-one finish. And so for those of you that are looking at a coach like this and going, I'm gonna buy one of these over an Emerald Prevost, or I'm gonna buy one of these over a Newell, because I like the idea that Newmar has not only got a great support system, but they also have a national support system for service. And then the mothership has 60 places to park, 54 service bays, and they make this coach on the regular. So there's a schematic to it. They know what they're working with. It's not a prototype like you have in some of these higher end buses, but you still want that paint job. For $100,000, you can get a one-of-one paint job that really will set this coach apart from the others, and it would still come in at a pittance compared to the price points of those multi-million dollar coaches, but you'd have that look. So Newmar's really done a really good job in helping to identify that people who are buying these products are buying expensive coaches. They want nice things, and they want to be able to customize them. And that's every other manufacturer. So as you can see here, I mentioned earlier, we do have the air mattress. These are the 2 chairs. These are a solid leather finish, which is going to, of course, make them much more durable. But you'll notice also on either side of this bed, there's no more carpet in these coaches starting in 2026. So although you have a place here, to keep your sultry novels and your water bottles, a little cutout where you can plug things in, you don't have to worry about having carpet in this coach any longer. And that's not just for the Essex, that's for all of our coaches. Even a Ventana is going to have this new material where we don't have carpet, just because we've realized that people are looking for things that are easier to maintain. Now, as we know earlier, I struggled to identify what the little hangy downy thing was on the wall sconce of the bathroom, but I'm going to show you what I was telling you it tied into right here. Take a look at the legs on these chairs. These are so decadent, and I'll tell you, people was Do they tip over while you're driving? No, they're heavy. These are heavy duty chairs. They sit right here on this full wall slide, but I wanted to show you something else that's really interesting about the configuration of this coach. Whoa, Jody, did you see that lady going like 110 miles in our parking lot in an Echo? That was pretty funny. Okay, so first of all, this can go in further. So if you were camping and you wanted just to have dining for two, it can go into about this space, which gives you a really big amount of space around the table. But as you saw earlier, I had it pulled out for somebody who may be working. Also, it twists, right? So when I twist it, I can show you here. This is one of the reasons I love this coach. Look at all this room you have down here. You could easily have a printer down here, a computer, anything that you needed to have in your work environment. And that's on both sides. But as you can see here, I can twist this. And when I do, I push it forward. And this is such genius. I know Troy Schultz loves this configuration. So I'll call him out. He's just a great support to us. He's of course our Newmar rep. Back here, there's enough room for one 4-pack of Pimpernel placemats, which is of course all the people you need to have over for dinner anyway. But as you can see, if you decided to have breakfast, and hopefully you're in a place where the vistas and the views are scenic the whole way around, but if they are, you could sit this direction and look out at our beautiful view of the Rocky Mountains and I-25, or you could sit this direction. Now this is going to be for storage going down the road. So you would put the table out and turn it sideways to sit this direction if you were parked. This is a little tight. There we go. But I wanted to show both configurations. And then for storage while you're in motion, as you can see, because this table is so svelte, it gives you a great amount of walking room when you go down the aisle. So when we close the slides up a little bit later, you'll be able to see all of that. Now here, as you can see, I have our day shades deployed. I have our television down. Now, as I mentioned, we can touch any of these panels and just go here and go to TV lift and hit up. There's our 50-inch flat screen. This is of course a 4K smart TV. I did want to show the difference in seats. This is the standard seat. It is with massage feature. It is cooled, so it's ventilated and heated, but it is not the wide seat. The reason you may choose to have the wide seat is because you've got a small dog. The reason you may not choose to have it is because this is a little more comfortable if you're actually using it as a recliner. And this is a full-fledged recliner. And keep in mind, this is a massaging recliner. With ventilated seats. So this is a pretty cool place to sit. If it's a hot day in Palm Springs and you're getting back from a long game of golf, that's the place I'd probably sit and have a glass of wine right here, talk to my hubby, whatever we're doing for the day. But a nice feature there. But again, this proximity to your elbows is why you may choose not to have the queen seat. I don't think, they moved the seat back about 4 inches about 2 years ago. I don't think it's necessary to have a wider or more narrow seat for the egress. I think that they're both pretty easy to get through, to be honest with you, so I don't think that that's an issue. But again, nice seating configuration here. Now here, as I mentioned earlier, we've got these beautiful tufted couches with soft velvet cushions. And this is a tri-fold sofa. So this is probably most people's ideal sofa set because of the fact that, oh darn it, Jody, it's in the stinking hole. The one thing I didn't check. Nope. Let's see if I can get it. There it is. Okay, you guys, this is, I'll tell you, this is a lesson to remember. Do not put your handle, there it goes, I got it, in the latch. You got to make sure you hold on to that bad boy. But this sofa set is probably about right for everybody because of the fact, first of all, it doesn't look terribly comfortable, and it is, so that's great, right? Because this is actually where it hits your hip, pretty comfy. You can put your cushions back on here, or if you had a taller person, just use this for pillow space. You've got outlets on either side, so if they needed to charge their phone or something like that, because maybe they had a glass of wine extra or so and they can't drive home, plenty of room here. but not so inviting as that gigantic queen size fold out. This has two 110s. This has the 110s and the type C and A USBs, as well as this one here. So there's a lot of outlets in this coach. Anyone who's ever had an old house knows the drill there. There's two seat belts here. There are also two seat belts in the recliners. And again, like I said, keep this little handle out, or it becomes a little tricky to get that bed out, especially after a bottle of Prosecco. Okay, so here we go. Not like I'm speaking from experience or anything. So speaking from experience, I just had the most amazing trip to Palisade. If you haven't been there yet, what a fun camping trip we just went on. We used our sound bar, as you can see, beautiful sound bar there. We did not put our TV up. We are 2 years as of this month without raising our televator. We're just not a TV household, but if you are, here are all the connections. And as I mentioned, you have Starlink on this coach. Now, I do a lot of Peloton workouts while I'm on the road. I do my weightlifting and my core workouts, but I usually do them on my iPad. And a lot of times I do them outside because it's more fun. Now, before we leave and go to the front of this area, let's go back to the kitchen. I wanted to show you some of the cabinetry so you know what you're dealing with in terms of these pockets. Adjustable shelves here, great place for balsamic vinegar, olive oil. As you can see, you can reach all the way to the back here. If you wanted to keep a coffee pot in here or a toaster oven, this is a removable shelf, so you could put tall items in here, rice cooker maybe, whatever it is that you might take with you. And then here, of course, you got your spice rack. It is narrow. It's got plenty of room for a decent spice set, but you may want to get some uniform bottles. And then another place here to keep all of your plates, maybe your glasses, or not glasses, we'll keep those across the way. Plates and bowls though there. And then as you can see here, these cutting boards are still part of this bosch kitchen area, but they're much bigger because of the fact that you've got a larger area. The other thing that's really grand is going to be this sink. And so I have both of the covers stored down below. This is a spray and pour. Again, I can't tell you how much I love this faucet set. I love that I have a really big, deep basin, stainless steel undermount sink, and a smaller vegetable sink. But I did take the liberty of putting the kitchen sink covers in the storage area so you can see those. Also in the Essex, you'll get a stainless steel waste bin. And then nice pull out for all of your cleaning supplies. If you get the King Air, you get a caddy. I mean, I'm just saying, it's all worth that caddy. I don't know what you put there because you have plenty of room for scrubbies. You need a drawer like this in a Dutch Star because they've got that farm style front sink and it doesn't have the thing. But what is this one for? Okay, so guys, I've got no creative imagination. I'm thinking bottle openers, corkscrews, and like shot glasses. I don't know. Belvedere goes down in that little narrow cabinet. However you want to do it, folks. It's all up to you. There are outlets here, here, and here. So mine only has two sets of outlets, so having that third set is really nice, especially if you've got things like, you know, an espresso maker or an espresso, something that you're to keep out full time. And then here you can see we've got extra touch-up paint, the flagpole bracket. This is for your flag. We've got another remote for your soundbar in the bedroom. And then these are just to take all of your water filters on and off. And then here, oh, come on. My generator's on. I should be able to open this, right? Okay, well, I can't open it. It's a Fisher Paykel dishwasher. I swear you're supposed to knock on it. Is it one knock?
110.
Oh, yeah, but I should be able to read it. It's okay. Is Avin talking in your earballs? You know. Jody knows everything, you guys. If you ever want to buy an RV and I'm not available, just talk to Jody because he's made more videos than any of us salespeople. So this is a rather clever feature. I love the way that they do this. Newmar does not want it to look, you know, silly with like a big finger gap between your cabinets. For any of those who've done a custom cabinet, you know, always get 1 finger or 2 fingers between your cabinets for high end. So they make these fascias to give you this false front. But a lot of people really like this island. So there's the island. Okay, so let's go back to this side. I know we're talking about cabinets. These are a little deeper So if you've got board games, puzzles, and the like, there's your Starlink guy. We will help you get your Starlink accounts set up. I've installed multiple Starlinks on a few coaches for people who are going to be under canopies of trees. We also do cradle point systems here. We can do cellular based systems. So if you've got telematics questions, let me know. So one thing that tall dudes get really excited about when they're in this coach is these chairs. Now, not only are they beautiful tufted leather chairs, apparently when you're tall, you have an issue with your head being able to go all the way back and your legs being fully supported. I don't have that issue, but if you're a tall dude, you're gonna really like these chairs. And then they have little glowy cup holders. They have little charging ports in them. But most importantly, starting in 2026, Newmar listened to us. We were asked over and over again for a nice solid surface. And when I went into my Dutch Star delivery over the weekend, they stayed here. Of course, they camped with us just one night before heading back east. But when they were here, she had her wine glass out on her little, whatever solid surface between her theater seats, which was such a big deal because I've been asking for this for so long. Because if you've got a bowl of like guacamole or salsa, you don't want to put it on something that's squishy. You want to put it on a nice solid surface, or a glass of Prosecco. You cannot put one of those in this little cup holder. So underneath here, I did take the liberty of putting out the master remote, which is the one that you can sync to everything. I've got your remote for the front TV as well as your sound bar, and then for the 50-inch. And then I wanted to just show you here that you still have plenty of room, even though you've got a solid surface, for all of your blankets, all of your soft things that you want to keep, maybe some extra bedding in case you have a friend that ends up on your couch. But yeah, so this is definitely a traditional 4551, but as you can see, really fantastic in terms of the way that it looks. And again, just nice and refreshing that we have some of these more contemporary, less yellow. I mean, we used to have this like yellow white color that was just horrible. And so we've got some really good finishes now available that are going to be a lot more timeless than before. Now, this is all provided to you by Villa. There's a tag in the back of each of these seats. I just left one out so I could show it to you. But I love just all the extra tufting that you can get. You can really feel like this is a luxurious coach. And then take a look at how clear the camera systems are now. So Avin's in here. That's my golf cart. That's in front of us, so you can see out that front window. But I mean, it actually looks like the skies are even a little more blue in your camera system. You'll also notice that your 10-inch monitors are no longer separated with a slice down the middle. It's a single layer piece of glass the whole way across. You still have all of your great traditional features. For instance, your 360 camera, where you can see all around. You can tell I've got the rear deck lid opening up, showing us that big, beautiful ISX. You've got this downward where you can see the trailer hitch if you're putting your truck on the back or your Jeep. Nice storage drawers as well. You do have power doors for not only the front and rear doors, but also power locks for the exterior. And you've got a little button on the inside, his and hers, if you will. All of your visors and shades, once again, are now going to be just for visors and shades, which is so refreshing because we've always had, oh, there it is. I was like, which one am I doing? We've always had all these buttons, and it was like, why are they for awnings up here? Which one's for the door? So it's really nice that everything is just all put together and really streamlined. Good job on that. Now I wanted to mention this guy over here. This is Craig Garl. He is your Essex specialist at Newmar. So we have a few different specialists, right? We have our own version of specialist, Bill Habercorn. In all honesty, Bill Habercorn is a genius. And if he ever stops working here, I might have to quit too, because I don't know what I would do without him. Our Dutch Star this weekend had a blown fuse for the door, for the door awning, and it's a 2026. I don't know where it's at. Bill's like, hold on, give me a second. Drives down here in his golf cart. Within 10 minutes, he's gotten us a replaced fuse and an extra one just in case for down the road, and figured out where everything is. And he's got my clients fully operational and on the road. And that's why we encourage you to come in and not only work with Marlon for your delivery, but also if you purchase a coach from us here in Colorado from Transwest, you get access to this guy, Bill Habercorn, who is a genius, because a lot of times it's ESTO, equipment smarter than operator. And he can get you back on the road without you having to ruin your camping trip, which is huge. So let's talk a little bit about this dash. So first of all, it's a keyless, right? So you got push button start. So go ahead and start that up. You've got your integrated brake controller, so your Kurt Spectrum brake controller here. We do have the optional buddy plug on this. This is also an optional feature. Oh, I wanted to put this here so you can charge your phone while you're driving down the road, or see like you got a 60% off at the RTA store. Woo, deal, deal, deal. So here's that new dash we talked about. One of the changes they made in 2023 when they reconfigured this, look, we've got a friend. Don't sting me, okay? So you've got your DEF display right below your fuel display. So everything is in one area here, which is super, super nice. Also, as you can see, very bright, very clear, but you can use your little steering wheel controls to take a look at different gauges. So if you wanted to see additional gauges, your transmission temperature, your oil pressure, your coolant, your engine load, all of these things are right here in the middle of your coach. Now there's a shortcut here to steering effort. This is going to be relative to your comfort drive. So you can turn your comfort drive up and down. This is an electronic bias that's keeping this wheel straight. It's not only good for going straight down the road, keeping you from having to fight the wind, right? So you don't have to worry about wind resistance. It's also going to be good for keeping the coach tagging straight when you're backing into a parking spot. So you're backing up straight. So most of your accidents in RVs actually happen in reverse. So that comfort drive is a huge benefit there. You can see your fuel economy. Your Mobileye, of course, is talking about your air headway warning distance. So you can set this, I'm going to go ahead and change that to medium. I kind of like to go with the regular. Your intelligent high beams, I'm going to enable those. Someone has those turned off. That's so that if you're leaving your high beams on while you're driving through mountain passes, your high beams will automatically dim towards oncoming traffic. Your lane departure warning, we're going to go ahead and set it to low sensitivity. That's going to tell us whenever we're driving out of the lanes. And then your speed limit indicator and alert, we're going to go ahead. All this stuff was turned off. What's wrong with this driver? Oh my God. So again, this is all your Mobileye stuff. Your Mobileye is that little guy right there in the front of the coach. And then you've got your road watch stuff. So your road watch is a completely different sect. This is going to be for your cruise control. So this is going to tell you how far the person in front of you is, and it's going to show you right here. And you can choose following distances, 3 seconds, 3.3, or 3.6 seconds following distance, and that's the stop time that it's going to take to be able to stop. And then as you can see here, I can see if my phone is charged. I can turn my lane departure on and off, so I can see if that's engaged. I can turn my engine brake on high, medium, or low, or off right here. And then as you can see here, I also have stock control. So reverse, for instance, is going to show me, and you can see this is actually predictive. So as I turn the wheel, you can see it's showing you what direction I'm tagging in. So that's a little bit of a difference, and mine's a stationary when I go into reverse, so that's kind of nice. And then in drive, I can still shift manually here at the end of my stock. And then I still have my regular neutral, and I also have an economy mode. So if I'm going like cross country and I don't really need a lot of low end torque, I can go ahead and have my shift points be a little bit earlier, if you will. So I've got better fuel efficiency. So all nice features. Oh, it's going to be mad at me. Yeah, so the coach does not like it when I have the door open and I have the engine running. It kind of beeps at me. It's okay. Don't freak out. Everything will be fine. So that's a great feature. And then another thing to mention, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, is that we have also got we've got a microphone and an alert notification for when you're backing up on this coach. So all of these are great features. There's an automatic headlights as well, so that's a very nice feature. You've got your fog lights here, and then you've got your air horn, or your little horn. So there's your air horn. Oh, I've got to turn it back on. It's okay. We heard the horn. We're good. So left and right mirrors are power and heated. You've got your HWH hydraulic leveling system, but this is another nice feature by Freightliner here. So you can see I'm in travel mode. I could choose high ride, low ride. I can actually set my pressures for the rear and the front of this coach. So all of this is very customized for your air leveling system, which is of course available to you while you're driving, or even for air leveling the coach when you're parked. And then if you can see up here in this mirror, I wonder if I've got to turn this back on for just a second. There you go. So there's your little yellow guy. So that would turn red if there was somebody in your blind spot. And then your turn signal indicator, of course, shows up on your mirror, which is really nice. Now, when it's yellow like that, what that means is it means that you are, you should use caution. You can't determine whether or not there's someone there. So usually it'll look just like this. It'll be completely invisible. You don't see anything at all. If you see a red triangle, though, that means that someone is in your blind spot. So this has actually got a blind spot indicator as well as the mobile eye for keeping you in your lanes. Now over here on the passenger side, you'll see that we have our rear view camera. Somebody said, what do you mean by, oh shit, I lost the Jeep? And I'm like, well, that's the camera where if you're the navigator and your job is to watch everything behind you, you can like know that the Jeep is no longer behind you, and you can say, oh honey, shit, we lost the Jeep. That's the oh shit, we lost the Jeep camera. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you and you never need it, but if you do, your phone will be nice and charged, and that wireless charging dock down below, you can call somebody to give you some help. Yeah. Another opening window. Why are these opening windows so exciting to me? Because these windows are bonded, so this is going to have a quieter drive going down the road. A lot of the features that we found so successful for us are integrated into the Essex now that we had in only the King Air before. So up here you got your shades, you got, again, your awnings. These are manual controls. You also have a remote, which I have outside. You've got a nice place to keep some umbrellas. A 43-inch flat screen television. Again, all of this is tied into our Starlink system. We also have a toll module that's integrated into this coach. We've got our Girard awnings, which I think are still out. Yeah, we've got a nice, quiet, hot day. We've got our Razor antenna, which is going to tell us how many stations we have. And turn that on. So this is going to find your stations automatically, so you don't have to use that little crank to turn it around up on top. And then we're going to go ahead and pull our slides in. And now I'm going to give Jody a second to turn around just so we can get this. So you can see that floor rising up and then coming in. And again, this is part of the HWH hydraulic leveling system. Jody, can you just show how robust this these slides are? I want you guys to understand, this isn't just because it's an Essex. This is just how Newmar does stuff when they've got hydraulic slides. This coach is a beast, and these are self-locking. And where that's important is if you don't have a self-locking slide, so for instance, you can have, you know, $1 million, you know, Renegade XL, and you still have to put slide locks in because they don't lock on their own. Oh, and you can see all of that beautiful lighting down below. Those are your convenience lights, or your courtesy lights, so you can leave those on all night long, so you know when you're going potty. It's great access to the restroom. Speaking of going potty, going down the road, as I mentioned, this table gives you all of the features of being able to sit four very comfortably, but also very easy access here to the center bath. Now, in this center bath, one of the things that they've done, which I really love, is they've given me this nice in-mirror lighting. So if I was to be getting ready, this would be the bathroom I would choose to use. It's got a nice glass undermount sink. Again, beautiful faucets. I love the subway tile, but plenty of room in here. And there's a place to keep my hair dryer plugged in. But I love this nice lighting because as I get older, I find that the light is actually what allows me to be able to see better. The other thing that's really nice about this bathroom is if I had a vanity mirror, like a magnifying vanity mirror, which I did pick up one from Costco for like 29 bucks that I love. I keep at my Superstar. It would fit so well right here. This is such a great space. I keep all my makeup in this little drawer. I could keep all of my little like cosmetic doohickeys down here, and I still have plenty of room for the toilet treatment and the toilet paper. I have my kick plate here, as well as my vacuum thing. So I mean, this would be probably my little room. And then if I did have something else I needed to plug in, it's got this great little pop-out outlet, which I just love that it's like hidden like that. Like how cute is this? So cute. And then another opening mirror. And then here, of course, we've got the brains of the operation. And as you can see, Newmar does just such a great job with labeling everything. And by the way, Newmar, you didn't label the fuse for the door awning. but Bill found it. Thank God for Bill. I'll tell you, he makes me look, oh, there we go, backwards. He makes me look so smart. I'm not really that smart. But I do. I follow him around. Every time he fixes something, I follow him to wherever we're going because I want to see how he fixed it so I can learn how to fix it in case you need me to help you. Pretty handy that we went back and got that mid-bath, huh, Jody? And hey, folks, did you notice how we did that? We did the mid-bath with the slides closed. That's how easy this is. Look at this. How many sandwiches could you make me while we were driving down the road? And if you think that that's not a thing, I have to tell you, on our way back from Palisades, got this beautiful truck stop overlook, and guess who made sandwiches before we even got there? This girl. So Jason pulled over, parked, I had lunch ready to go. I look like a rock star, and really all it is the fact that I own a really kick-ass Newmar. So, okay, on our way out, we're gonna talk a little bit about buttons. So there's a lock and unlock feature here. This is to cycle these steps. So you can see I'm in these beautiful steps, and I have these in my Newmar Superstar. They go all the way to the ground, but if they get stuck in or out, I can just push this button and it will cycle through. But this little unlock button is really important because when you put the coach into drive, it automatically locks your bay doors. Now on your way out, Jody, will you just show right here how you can turn all the lights on and off? So that's going to be an all lights off switch. So after you get out, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to show you where to put the cat. So for any of you that are traveling, let's do all lights off. Any of you traveling with a cat, all you have to do is put the step cover out, and then you put the kitty right there underneath, and it won't bother you the whole time you're driving. No, I'm just kidding. Don't put your cat in there. But I have heard so many stories like where someone will hit a bump wrong and their cat like freaks out and like attaches to them. It would never happen if your kitty was down there. I'm just saying. No, and I honestly, I have 3 French Bulldogs. You couldn't fit them all in there. If you could, I might take them with me, but I don't take them camping. They're a PETA, pain in the butt. They, God, if I took my French Bulldogs, there we go. It's gonna yell at me, Jody. I turned it on, you guys, so I could remember to show you the 12.5 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. But yeah, my dogs, if they ever got out, they just run for the hills. So, oh, look at our air thing is airing. So this is one side of your dual fill, 150 gallons of fuel that you have available to you. Yes, that's right, 150 gallons, not 100. The doorbell is right here. When you push that button, you just say, come on in. And that's the beginning of your video. There you can tell that, oh, look at my awning just went in. Oh, I'll bet you it is getting a little gusty. How funny is that? Okay, so we'll see if the other ones stay out. I don't normally get to show you guys awnings during videos, honestly. They always blow in Colorado. There's this gigantic cooler. Now, as you can see, this is housed underneath the slide, so you can't get to your beer when you're parked. No, I'm just kidding. It comes all the way out. How fancy is that? That way you have access to your meat and popsicles, or I mean, what you get, that's like at least a 12 pack and like 3 bottles of Prosecco. I mean, bam, all the drinks, all the bevies. And then another thing that they did in the King Air First 2021, they added the shelf above the Dometic. Brilliant. Another thing that they did in 2021 that this coach now has, soft close doors, just like you have on your Audi or your BMW. So all of the creature features that we're used to having at home. These slides are Easy Glides. They hold up to 1,000 pounds. So yes, you could put your barbecue on there. You could collect rocks, whatever you feel like doing. You're gonna have plenty of room. And as you can see, these come out to 60%. So even if your slide is deployed, once again, you'll have access to the full center of the coach because these go through the entire passway. And I'm going to open the next one so I can show you the Star Foundation and how this passes through to the other side. But you know, one of the benefits to having a diesel pusher, of course, is that you can still have a gigantic ISX 15-liter engine and have full pass-through because your engine's in the back of the coach. There's no drive shaft going down the middle. So there's all of those remotes done in true Marlin fashion. One for your soundbar, one for your Girard awnings, and one for your outdoor TV. This is on a swivel. It is a 43-inch flat screen Samsung TV. Sony, that was like back in the day. By the way, we used to put Sony TVs in our coaches. Now everything is Samsung. Okay, 2 110 outlets as well as USB Type A and Type C ports in there for charging your phone. And then as promised, let's go ahead and take a look at our Star Foundation here. And the reason I mention this is because, especially, you know, with the manufacturer, the foundation of your coach is so fundamental. So you can see how this is actually taking your coach and raising the coach up off of the chassis rail. So you can see there's a lot of wiring and things that are going on underneath this coach that are able to go through under this coach because it's not sitting directly on the rail. The other thing that we do when we raise this chassis up off of the rail is we increase the feel of stability and comfort going down the road. So just like anybody who's had like a low profile sports car versus an SUV, same thing, you get that more comfortable drive sensation. And then they've taken all of this heaviest weight, which is your slides, and they've forced it down towards the center, so you still have a nice low center of gravity, giving you less of a tippy ride. And again, that paired with what is called V-ride on this chassis is going to give you a much better stability going down the road. So all of these things are really, really important features of this coach. So we keep going through here. You can see another great amount of storage here. This is where your central vac would be, your bag would be stored. You could also vacuum off your husband or your kids from outside here. Those are the hoses right down below. Also, as we mentioned earlier, that beautiful porcelain tile that we have in there from the King Air. There's a few panels extra here. And you can see the back of the Oasis system there. So that Oasis system is what is heating up that water behind the scenes in your shower. It's also what's powering your hydronic heat. So this coach has a number of different heat sources. It's got hydronic heat, which is a tube of liquid going through underneath the coach that has forced air going over it. You've got heat pumps, and then you also have your heated floors. So lots of ways to stay warm. I left this open so I could show you one of the nicer features for those of you who've ever hit your head on the corner here, to have these little lights underneath here so that you don't bunk your head at night. And they also just help you to see what you're doing. We're going to go ahead and open up this one. Starting in 2025, they made this a much easier interface to address. So as you can see, all of your fuses are really well labeled. They're easy for diagnosis. And you don't have to have a screwdriver to get into this cabinet. It's all hand loosened and tightened. So this little plexiglass comes right off here without having to have a screwdriver handy. And then as you can see, LED lighting here. And then there's this little hose just to the right of the lighting. And that is because we do have a enclosed roof deck to keep your solar panels, your Starlink, your air conditioner vents, all of those things covered. And so what's nice about that is if you get water trapped up there, it's going to drain down through an appropriate funnel as opposed to coming down and giving you unsightly lines on the outside of your coach. So, you know, like I said, Newmar does a lot of things really, really well. These are the little sensors for your blind spot indicators. So there's 6 of them, there's 3 on each side. And then as you can see here, you've got your big drive axle as well as your tag. Now keep in mind, when you have a 60-degree wheel cut in the front, and then you've got this big wheel cut here in the rear, this is going to give this coach a turning radius that's between the middle of this front wheel to the middle of the front wheel, as opposed to the rear, because this will actually pivot and turn, giving you a much more steerable experience getting into tight spots or gas stations, for instance. You've got a 15-gallon DEF tank here. It is also dual fill, so that's convenient depending on what side you're coming from. You saw earlier how we were able to open up this egress door. Here is that egress door for you. And then I wanted to point out, you can see this beautiful paint job is continued down through the side of the slides. Of course, you've got slide toppers up top. You've got this beautiful dual awning set. You don't need to deploy both at the same time, but giving you all of this LED lighting really creates a nice outdoor living room. And I have to tell you right now, Jody is way hotter than I am because I'm under the shade and he's in the sun. I know he's already fanning himself. I get in so much trouble for taking so long on these videos, you guys, but I do this so that you can know about your coach. Here's your on and off switch for your Freightliner chassis. Little diagnosis port out here as well, easy for technicians to access. 2 regular AGM batteries for your chassis. And then here's that Oasis juice, comes right here. If you mention that you've watched my video, I will give you a free gallon of Oasis juice. If it's below this cool line, not only will you not have any forced air, like so warm air in your coach, you will have to use your heated floors. You also won't have hot water. Easy to access your engine oil temperature. There is the beautiful of our gigantic ISX 15-liter engine married to the Freightliner chassis. And then as you can see, I can't reach that, so I'm not going to pull it down. It's probably why it's still up. But we do have ultra steer, as I mentioned earlier, a 20,000 pound towing capacity. Here's that brake sync. So brake sync basically keeps an air canister charged so that if you lose braking power, of course your air brakes will stop automatically. You would still be able to stop your tow vehicle. The Voyager system is already integrated, and so is the Hertz Spectrum brake integrator. What a man. Thank God for this guy. So there's the camera that we were looking at earlier for our 360 camera. Another one of these blind spot indicators. This is a side radiator coach starting at Dutch Star and all the way up. It used to be that the big defining factor between the Dutch Star and the Ventana was having no carpet. Now you can't say that, but the side radiator is a differentiating factor. This is a little place to keep a gravity hose if you want to keep an extra hose. This coach does come with SantaCon. Oh, look at, so one of our awnings, so one went in, the other one stayed out, but these are the awnings that are on the port side of the coach, which is a nice feature. We've got some extra docking lights here. And then this is another difference between this coach. So only the King Air and the Essex have the mana block system. This just gives you the ability to turn off different zones of water in your coach if you have an oopsie moment, so that you can stay out on the road until you get back home to get it fixed. You also have on this coach, which I think is really nice, a gray tank rinse as well as a black tank rinse, because I think gray tank water is the grossest. And then another thing that you can do on this coach is you can actually tip this coach this direction so that it will actually drain better, and you can control your generator from out here. You also have all your tank measurements out here. You can control your water pump out here. It's a very cool little integrated system. Again, that ATC system is a great new system for us. The whole house water filter, the housing is now clear. I love that. You've got your hot and cold shower out here, a paper towel dispenser, and again, that SantaCon system. And then your freshwater hose is on a power reel. And there's a little grommet here to get you out the door. And again, all of these soft closed doors, look at how that goes up. That's so that you can operate this with your slide fully deployed. How smart. Because you all know we're still using the inside of the coach when you're wrapping things up. So you might still have that big slide out. Here's your power cord. It's a 50-foot cord on a power reel. Again, LED lights in all of these bays. And then this is a great place to show you the little manual release. So if, for instance, you didn't have your power release there, you have a manual release that you can use to open these doors if you don't have power in your coach to use these nice soft closed doors. So you're not up a creek. That was actually one of the first concerns I had. Again, dual loop Chinook system. Why is a dual loop good? It just gives you less travel time between that 8-gallon reservoir back to home, keeping you cool or warmer longer and faster. Here's the other side of that big Power Glide tray, like I mentioned. These both are going to be 1,000 pound weight rated, and they come out 60% on either side, so you can load the coach from either side all the way to the center of the coach. And of course, we all know we've been to those weird campsites where that's actually really important. Maybe there's a tree there, maybe there's just, I don't know, an ant pile or some other reason, but a lot of times it's really nice to be able to get the stuff out of the middle from one side or the other. Okay, so big change for us, right? No longer are we using our Silverleaf system. We've got our ATC system, and we also have our Victron energy management system. This has been hugely successful throughout the industry. Renegade's been on Victron for a while now. You still have 3,000 watt inverters, but now you've got the Victron instead of the Magnum. And then this has a 640 amp hour Lithionics battery. There is enough room to put in another battery. So if you want to have a 960 amp hour battery, you could do that. Instead, they've given you a squeegee. which I think is way more useful. Honestly, this coach has got a 12.5 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. It does not need 960 amp hours of battery, unless you're trackside. Like maybe you're somebody who's at NASCAR all the time and you can't run your generator during the day, or maybe you're doing equestrian shows. Anything along those lines, maybe that could be a reason that you would consider that extra amp hours, and you could have those installed. So that's a very easy thing to modify. You can't add lithium and have that management system after the fact to an older coach, but if you only have 640, you can easily bring that up to 960. Look at that, guys. This is probably an industry first. I don't know if I've ever remembered to leave the coach on so I can show you the generator. I always forget. But we did it today. So we're gonna go ahead and show you your 12.5 quiet diesel generator. It's got, you know, your gen hours are right there. And you'll notice that there is a 50 amp 2-pole AC breaker right here. You know what that means? It means if this is tripped and it's down and your generator's running, you still won't have power from your generator. We get this call a lot where someone's like, my generator's been running for like 2 hours and I'm not getting anything out of it. The breaker's tripped. It's right there. That's where you fix it. So, and then if you want to come in from this side, Jody, you can show those gigantic air horns. That's what's making all that noise up front. And then we're going to go ahead and retract this and bring it back in. And again, we just want to introduce, this is an available 4551 Essex. It does not have the Onyx package. You could have the Onyx package in which these would be painted black. I really do love with the chrome trim down below, these nice high polished aluminum wheels. I love the look of this contemporary graphic with the traditional chrome finishes. This is stock number 5N250101. Again, 5N250101. This is a fantastic RV. As you can see, hidden by the front, you've got no windshield wipers showing. You've just got this really big, strong Essex badge. You've got all of your radar systems up front. Just a beautiful front end, a beautiful coach, a great way to get you out on the road and camping. Let me know how I can help. Thanks so much for tuning in on Monday.